The expected car market collapse is happening now, and the reality is far worse than your wildest dreams. Car makers and customers suffer the effects of this terrible catastrophe as the sector faces unprecedented challenges. The car market has historically been a leading indicator of the global economy's health. However, recent developments have sparked an unparalleled implosion in the business, sending shockwaves worldwide. The once booming car business is now in terminal decline, and experts warn that the situation is far worse than anybody could have predicted. In this video, we will look at the reasons and consequences of the car market collapse and what it implies for the global economy's future. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. And please turn on the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest videos. Now, let's get into the video. Like many other consumer products, car prices have risen in recent months. According to data, the average price for a new car in the US increased by 4.2% year over year in January 2023. This, along with rising petrol costs and borrowing rates, is making automobile ownership more difficult and slowing auto sales. Why are used car prices so high? Because of a worldwide scarcity of semiconductor chips, the price of second-hand automobiles has skyrocketed. Microchip makers curtailed chip output in reaction to the outbreak. But nonetheless, the global economy recovered quicker than projected, and many Americans utilized pandemic relief funds to purchase new vehicles. This contributed to a considerable chip scarcity. With only a few microprocessor manufacturers globally, supply is needed to meet demand. According to Goldman Sachs, the average new vehicle requires 298 computer chips, 40% more than automobiles manufactured before the pandemic. Now, when automobile manufacturers could not obtain enough microchips, new car manufacturing froze and second-hand car prices skyrocketed. Many people are now purchasing used cars. Those seeking to acquire new cars bought old cars due to the lack of new vehicles caused by halted semiconductor manufacturing. Many of them had to enter the used automobile market because they couldn't acquire a new car. According to our 2023 State of the American Driver study, 35% of people who purchased a car last year did so because they couldn't locate a new one. Now that is a fairly significant amount, demonstrating just how much overflow there was in the market. So what is behind the decrease in used vehicle prices? Supply concerns were a big reason why used automobile prices were previously so high. Since the start of the epidemic, chip shortages and other supply chain concerns have restricted the availability of new automobiles, increasing demand for second-hand vehicles. With these challenges diminishing, the supply of second-hand automobiles has expanded. According to one Kelley Blue Book survey, used automobile inventories nationwide were at 2.46 million at the end of August. This approximately corresponded to the merchandise from a month ago, indicating a more extensive supply of second-hand automobiles than in prior months. So how does inflation affect vehicle sales trends? Increasing sticker costs have affected customer demand for new and used automobiles, resulting in a drop in sales. According to JP Morgan research, the seasonally adjusted annual rate of light vehicle sales in the US will be 14 to 14.5 million in 2023, a slight increase from 13.9 million in 2022, but considerably below the 17 million sold pre-pandemic in 2019. Demand destruction is going places, said Brinkman. We continue to feel that record new car prices, sliding used vehicle trade-in values, and increased borrowing rates are all significantly hurting affordability. As a result of the outbreak and its aftermath, the car industry will continue to endure a lower volume, higher price dynamic. The road to recovery may be slower and less linear than anticipated, Brinkman added, but 2023 offers a higher possibility for a faster rebound in the volume environment and a faster normalization in price, with an economic slowdown acting as a wild card. fewer cars at higher costs are immensely profitable. The market change has been astonishing, and manufacturers are not in any haste to reverse direction. Examine the magnitude of the shift. Cox Automotive analyzed the data and discovered that from December 2017 to December 2022, sales of new automobiles under $25,000, inexpensive by new car standards, fell 78%, falling from almost 13% to just under 4% of total new vehicle sales. However, sales of new automobiles costing more than $60,000 have surged. Such cars, which cost more than the typical American's annual salary, increased from 8% to 25% of the auto market. Because 60,000 automobiles are substantially more profitable than $25,000 vehicles, this change is highly advantageous to automakers. Furthermore, because they're spending extensively on new electric cars, they're primarily focused on fat margins rather than large volumes. What can you expect? If the previous trends continue, used car customers will see obstacles to entry removed in 2023 as used vehicle availability expands and average price tags continue to fall. Yet if some conditions improve, it is critical to be prepared for new challenges such as decreasing trade-in values, economic instability, and rising interest rates. According to Experian, the average used car interest rate in the third quarter of 2022 increased all credit scores, ranging from 3.7% for super prime to over 20% for deep subprime scores. Now this is a 1.3% increase in super prime rates and a 0.5% increase in deep subprime rates. How to prepare for a price drop in used cars. It's a great moment to be a seller, but not a great time to be a buyer. Rising prices for necessities are straining family budgets. A budgeting tool can help you reduce the effect of inflation and discover new ways to save. Examine your finances and devise a strategy to minimize your cost to a minimum. The perfect combination of supply and demand resulted in an unsustainable temporary increase in used automobile prices. So what goes up must come down, as why with any financial bubble, when it bursts, automobile owners may owe more than the vehicle's value. So if you want to buy another automobile, maintain your existing vehicle until automotive costs fall. The best tactic is to remain calm. Be careful to get a car you can't afford, and remember that automobiles depreciate over time. If you need to buy a new car immediately, consider purchasing the cheapest automobile as a bridge until car prices fall later this year. With car prices continuing to drop, financial institutions are becoming increasingly concerned about the potential risk of loan defaults. This could lead to stricter lending requirements and higher interest rates for borrowers, ultimately suppressing demand for new and used vehicles even further. The current auto market meltdown is unprecedented, sending shockwaves throughout the industry. The situation is grimmer than anyone imagined, with plummeting sales, declining profits, and widespread layoffs. While the COVID-19 pandemic has played a significant role in this downturn, structural issues are also at play, such as the shift towards electric and autonomous vehicles and changing consumer preferences. Despite these challenges, there is hope that the industry will bounce back, with many manufacturers investing heavily in new technologies and innovative business models. However, it will take time and concerted effort from all stakeholders to navigate this challenging period and emerge stronger on the other side. Reducing wholesale prices only sometimes makes used cars more affordable. While wholesalers' used car costs are reducing, this does not necessarily translate into more inexpensive automobiles for individual car consumers. Auto dealerships may pay less for used vehicles, but this does not imply that they will drop their asking prices. Despite the recent decline in wholesale costs, retail prices for used automobiles are still 7.2% higher than last year, according to BLS statistics. Even if retail costs finally fall in line with wholesale pricing patterns, other variables ensure that used automobiles are less inexpensive than they have been in the past. There is some hope. EV prices may fall. Automakers said they want to produce more vehicles for those who can't buy top-of-the-line full-sized SUVs when the chip scarcity eases. So don't anticipate a flood of $15,000 cars. We're not expecting to see a revival of cheap gasoline-powered automobiles, says Ed Kim, principal analyst at Auto Pacific. Where the industry is going is putting in a lot of effort to get more cheap plug-in vehicles out there into the marketplace. Electric car prices are falling due to Tesla's aggressive price decreases. They're down 7.5% yearly, according to the most recent Kelley Blue Book statistic, before federal tax incentives, including for used vehicles. Yet, significant obstacles are ahead, particularly regarding charging infrastructure. Before, many automobile consumers would choose an EV, yet costs have a long way to go before being reasonable. Investors were recently disappointed when Tesla, which had long promised a lower-cost vehicle, failed to deliver. So please leave a comment below with your ideas and comments on the present status of the automotive industry. We appreciate your input and look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for tuning in.